Alright, so today I'm going to review this thing I saw in an advertisement for a YouTube video I was going to watch. And, right up front, fair use. I'm criticizing this thing as it stands as a matter of academic import because it's really friggin' stupid.
Is there a supernatural dimension?
I don't know. This is your show. Why don't you tell me?
A world beyond the one we know?
Again, probably not.
Is there life after death?
So you just asked me if we'll be alive when we're dead.
Do angels exist?
Nope.
Can our dreams contain messages from heaven?
Nope.
Can we tap into ancient secrets of the supernatural?
Nope.
Are healing miracles real?
I'm gonna get tired of saying this all the time.
Sid Roth has spent over 35 years researching the strange world of the supernatural.
Something tells me he's researched about as much as Anita Sarkeesian.
Welcome to my world, where it's naturally supernatural.
Naturally supernatural. I can put strange emphasis on my syllables, too.
You know, many people are wondering, what is really going on in Washington, D.C.? My guest found himself in the spirit, supernaturally in the White House for 8 hours observing what is going on.
Make sure you've got that in your mind the entire time both of these folks are speaking. One of them claims to have spiritually projected into the White House for 8 hours. And the other guy appears to believe him. That is the entire foundation of this segment. And it's why I wanted to tear it apart, because this is bizarre.
Do I dare let him tell you what is going on? Are you interested?
Can you imagine what he would have done if the entire audience just went, nope, we don't want to hear this? Like, it's a setup. Why is he even asking? This is just a terrible way to introduce something like this. And I apologize for all the background noise. This is not a studio. This is literally just my front room and me sitting at a computer.
So, my guest, Rich Vera, he's 18 years old.
Yeah, 18 years old. This guy is a kid. He's had a hallucination to make him think that he has been inside the White House watching the president for an entire workday. Now, I don't know about you, but when I was 18, I wasn't fantasizing about the president. So the next little bit of time, he just talks about his conversion, and there's nothing terribly interesting here, and then he goes into the actual thing. And I realize how lazy I'm being on the graphics here. Sorry, I'm just not going to spend a lot of time on this. I really am cutting a lot of this out. I listened to the next part, and I've forgotten how long his conversion story takes. It's about 9 years of his life, and there's a lesson about finances in it and everything. It's really bizarre.
And I was grilling some fish on some friends' homes in Hawaii, Maui, Hawaii, and suddenly I got sick and everything started spinning around. Fell on the ground, passed out, and instantly when my head hit the ground, I was taken out of my body, and I stood in the gate of heaven in the presence of the Lord.
I'm almost more interested to hear about this than I am about the White House.
But just continue.
Yeah, at 12, it was from 7 p.m. to 12-something midnight, I was under the power of God in this visitation. Then, when I was done, my friends took me to my house, laid me on my couch, and for 3 days, I could hear voices in the spirit world, and everything was so loud and so clear that I thought I was going to lose my mind. And suddenly the Lord, I had to ask the Holy Spirit, I said, Holy Spirit, stop it. And instantly, the Spirit of the Lord lifted from me, and I got out of my bed, and I was able to go and take a shower.
I'm sitting through this for your entertainment. I hope you're enjoying it, because he takes forever to get to the good point. So I'm going to have a little fun with it as well.
Well, he just came off a 21-day fast. And in this fast, he saw God's answer for cancer, God's answer for Alzheimer's. Would you like to find God's answers out? We'll be right back.
So you're telling me God revealed to this man the cures for cancer and Alzheimer's and all sorts of things. And one, this guy isn't just sharing it freely, because he claims earlier in the video that he knows how it is to be broke and not have money and not have things and be in dire predicaments. And 2, they still need a commercial break for some reason, even though they have literally what would be the thing to give them the most wealth in the entire world. Now, I don't know about you, but I think someone is full of shit. And I haven't eaten enough today for it to be me.
In the United States of America. Hey, I like that. Maybe we should change the name of our country, the United States of America.
That was pretty clever. A good way to save yourself, man. The United States of a miracle. A miracle. A miracle. The only miracle here is that someone still points a camera at you and other people listen to you. Unironically.
We do need a miracle.
What type of miracles are you seeing in the United States of America?
Really, man? This is where you're going to make your stand? This is the one thing you're going to take from this and make other people think is cool?
Cancers dissolving on the spot out of people's bodies.
So he claims that he sees on a weekly basis cancers dissolve before his very eyes. Someone get this guy a GoPro, because I want to see a cancer dissolve right before my eyes. And he claims he's seeing this weekly. You can look at the full video on your own and see. Literally, he is saying that he watches cancers dissolve weekly. If this were true, again, he would literally be the most valuable person in the world. But he is not.
We're seeing people, now I walked into a season where I started sending the word of healing to people in different cities, and while I'm sending the word, they're getting out of hospitals, out of beds. We anoint, people bring t-shirts, people bring handkerchiefs, we anoint them and they're being sent out around the world, and people are coming out of hospitals, being healed of all kinds. I have over 1,000 testimonies verified by doctors of miracles in America.
I added this segment only to show you the depth this guy will go to try to sell you this message that he can do things that doctors cannot. He is willing to lie to you so clearly and facetiously, and to claim that he can cure your cancer if you send him money and a thing. No, this is not something that can be done. This pisses me off. And it is a fraudulent activity. This is not the kind of thing that we should be permitting ourselves to let happen without criticism. This is exactly the kind of fundamentalism that most Americans would decry, but because it happens to fall in their flavor of religion, they think it's okay to give it a pass. But I disagree. This man represents your values if you happen to be Christian. Do you really want him putting forth these ideas in the name of the thing that you believe in? I do not think that is beneficial. I do not think it is useful. I think it is in fact harmful and downright dangerous to insist, to even go so far as to say, as doctors are agreeing with you, which I am certain they are not, and that's clearly a lie, that somehow you're more effective at treating cancer than they are. You do not want this kind of message in your thing, sir, for there are various types of liability for which you could be held if someone uses your thing instead of using a legitimate therapy and dies from it. You are killing people this way. This is not ethical, moral activity, and I decry it entirely.
Is about ready to explode in high schools,
Yes.
in colleges, in the marketplace.
Now, the host of this show does seem like he's intelligent enough to understand that this is clearly tripe. However, he is still giving the other fellow airtime. And it may simply be that he thinks it is actually true. though I have serious doubts about that. He seems very eloquent. He seems very able to get his point across to people. I think that he is disingenuous in giving the other fellow airtime at all. The other fellow, however, Rich, I believe that he may genuinely be deluded into believing that the things that he thinks he has seen, he has actually seen. I could be wrong. He could also just be a huckster. There is a lot of money in it. However, I'm willing to give him more of the benefit of the doubt than I am the host of this show, who appears to be only interested in selling us something. And mind you, I'm quite a ways into this video, and we still haven't heard about this crazy trip. Maybe I was hallucinating when I thought he actually talked about it. I don't know. I guess we'll find out.
I wrote it on my iPhone real quickly, and the Lord told me, take a picture of the screen that it saves the date and the hour that you write it. And I did that, which I have it on my phone.
And basically, I imagine this is kind of how the Bible was created. Moving on.
To the point that Raul Castro will go back to the Catholic Church and to prayer, even though he's an atheist. So I have this on the internet, and surely a few years later, the Pope went to Cuba. But the part that hasn't happened yet is that Cuba will be one of the few islands in the Caribbean that will be Christian.
Sorry for the bad jump cut there, but the point I think he was trying to say was that Fidel hasn't become Christian in his point of view. I don't know what it has to do with anything, but he seems really sold on this point, so I thought I'd just throw it in as one of his predictions that didn't come true. This guy is really bad at this projection thing.
And there'll be a transition that God will blow a wind of change, but the church in Cuba was going to be a voice for the entire region, even for the state of Florida and part of the U.S.
So this guy is literally calling for a Christian reform in the form of a revolt that should be led by Latin Americans against the United States. Let that sink in for a moment.
All right, very quickly, India. What did you say?
Yes.
That's in the news.
Yeah, the Lord took me on a vision, and I hovered real quickly over the ocean. I was in India. And the Lord told me that that the spirit of change was on India, that there was going to be a new source of energy that was going to come to India. And that India was going to tap into what's called nuclear power. And I saw relationship with Australia and India coming together. And I saw the spirit of prosperity beginning to hit some of the poorest areas in India. And I saw a change coming in the ideology and the government to a point that the Christian church, especially the Catholic voices, were going to be strong in the nation of India.
So you think the winds of change are just coming to India, and everybody in India is just going to drop believing in Vishnu or whomever, or no one at all, and just decide that your God is better for some reason? Probably not. The winds of change are coming, but they're not going to make a lot of Christians. The British tried that a long time ago. It didn't really work out.
What did you see about breakthroughs in health and cancer and mental illness?
Yes, the Spirit of the Lord took me and showed me cancer. And I saw the spirit of cancer like a living something, and I saw the Lord blowing upon that, and the Lord says the cure of cancer within 5 years it's going to begin to spread. And the Lord took me to Europe, especially in the area of the UK, on that area, and the Lord told me that out of that place will come cures for sicknesses and the cure for cancer. And
so basically, this is another bit of good waffle and stuff. He doesn't actually have anything interesting to say. He's just spouting off words. I don't even have a good response to this other than just to say that he is giving so many people false hope.
God was going to cause that sickness that has killed millions of people, but mainly some of his chosen servants.
Yeah, because like a good Christian, you should only care when other Christians are suffering, right?
Found in this generation.
Believe it or not, he saw something about Donald Trump and President Obama. Would you like to hear? We'll be right back.
All right, so he's going to reveal to us after the second commercial break, when we've had our fill of fluff, potentially something between Obama and Trump, which naturally is going to be made up. I do not believe it, obviously. And you should not either, because there is absolutely no evidence to support this man's claims. Whatever they may be when we get to them here in just a little bit, I'm sure you will be as awestruck as I am. Although, admittedly, the focus of this was that part. I think I've had just as much fun with the meat in the middle.
Our lives, our societies, were to the point that oil was not going to be, the oil was going to become secondary to what God was going to bring on the earth, coming to light in the next few years. But God has things that man has not seen yet in existence, yet they're coming from the ground, they're coming from the earth.
So not only does this fellow have the cure to cancer and Alzheimer's and everything racked up in his brain, and he claims that God has it as well, but he claims that there's also things in the earth that will come out of the earth that we haven't seen that will become our next energy source in like 2 or 3 years. And despite this revelation to the host, he decides instead to talk about something which everyone obviously finds much more important than, how we're going to live soon. Give this a listen.
Tell me about Donald Trump. Donald Trump. Donald Trump.
Donald Trump. Donald Trump. Donald Trump. Donald Trump. Donald Trump.
Donald Trump.
Donald Trump. Oh my goodness.
Well, yes, it was going to be Donald Trump. But, it's just what he says after this isn't very interesting or important, so we'll just let it slide.
America.
Speaking about the secrets going on in government, you found yourself in the spirit, in the White House, observing everything that was going on for a good 8 hours. Bottom line, what are some of the things you saw?
It sounds crazy, but I was going to sleep and I felt on a deep sleep on my bed, and I went into a profound dream vision, and I hover over the White House.
Well, it's good to know that you're hovering over it. I hope you go into it.
And I hover over the room where Obama does his work.
You know there's more than one, right? The Oval Office, the West Wing, the presidential bathroom.
And I was there, and I could hear conversations. I could see him, all his stuff that he's doing. And I could see people in his circle coming to him, and they'll have papers written with things, and they will put on his table, and this is what you got to say, and this is what you got to do. And he'll be like trying to say, well, but this, and so this is what he got to be done.
So basically, he's giving you very vague things that, could be basically anywhere. I'm going to make a prediction right now. Go somewhere where people have been. Things happened. See if I'm right. Am I a prophet? No, it's called cold reading. It's just what you do when you're trying to make bullshit sound believable. And it doesn't really work. Listen to what he said again. You don't glean any extra information there. Yes, I'll bet when the president is in his workrooms, he's doing work. And when he has his advisors there, they are advising him. These are not predictions. These are not clairvoyance. These are not viewings of past actions in the spirit form. These are just very generic things he's saying. And the fact that people cannot see this annoys me. There are people paying for these video sets that they're advertising in the very long commercial breaks that are equally just as full of tripe as you would imagine this is. I haven't seen them, but if they follow anything of a similar format, they're exactly the same way. He promises you the cure for cancer, and he gives you
Donald Trump.
Donald Trump.
All right, and that's going to be the end of this one. Again, I'm going to leave you with the final words that don't trust shills, especially when they're this bad. If you like the videos, go ahead, like, comment, subscribe. You know how to click buttons. The link to this video that I reviewed will be in the comments or something or whatever. No.